Hello.
Hello, I'm Allie.
And I'm Andre.
And this is
The Love is Blind podcast.
We are getting better at it.
Sweden.
Oh. Well, it's the Love is Blind podcast, but we're doing Love is Blind Sweden.
Oh, that's, you are 100%.
Got it in on a technicality, baby. We are here to discuss season 1, episode 3.
Yeah.
Which is titled
First Night Together.
With the description.
As the final couple say yes to engagement, a single looks to quickly mend his broken heart.
Yes, I guess.
Honeymoon trips commence, but not all are blissful. And I guess before, we jumped right into the episode description, but before anything else, first of all, sorry, there's been a little bit of a gap. Life happened. And
I know, we keep apologizing.
We've been busy.
We respond well to deadlines. And it's, with the episodes that are coming out week by week, it's like, all right, we got to get it done. But,
But this has been out for a long time, and we've had other things to accomplish.
But we love you.
We're
going to try to do a couple this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're cat sitting, so we have a little cat
We
around
do.
us.
We do.
If you hear a cat, that's the cat. It's
Cat
not
named Mewlington.
Mew Mew for short.
Which those of you season 6 fans may remember Bentley.
Bentley, the cat that we found.
Who I think was in episode 3.
Oh wow, you have a great memory for that.
I might be wrong.
Oh, okay.
If I'm right, I have a great memory. But you might, yeah. And we also have a few comments to read.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you to Whitney923, who let us know that she watches the original voices and reads the subtitles, and also let us know that holding cards close to the vest is the original phrase, but they are both now possible phrases.
Nice.
And our old friend Topola, which I think is Paula
Scott. Topola
has said hello again. Hi back.
Hello.
Hi back, boo.
And then we have some nice reviews from Elizabeth W. and from Mandy Mel 8. Thank you so much for giving us those reviews on Apple Podcasts. They are awesome, make us feel great, and also make the podcast more visible to other folks. So keep them coming.
Please follow us.
Yeah, get those 5 stars. Follow us on Instagram at Love is Blind Podcast. And
They really do. I don't know exactly how, but I vaguely understand that getting more 5-star reviews translates to more visibility.
I mean, 100%. It used to be when we first started. When we first started, if you searched for Love is Blind podcast, we genuinely wouldn't even show up.
That's true.
And now we're, I don't know, the second, third result. In some cases, maybe, some platforms.
I think when we're firing on all pistols, then we're pistons.
Pistons.
Is this another idiom that I'm going to have to ask about?
Oh, this one's definitely pistons.
Pistons. Okay. I feel like that might be also something that started as pistons, and I've heard both, I think. Anyway.
Oh, no.
Okay.
So let's
speaking of the opposite
in.
of firing on all pistons.
Oh, God.
Episode starts with the meeting between Sergio and Amanda.
A meeting that I just,
even his entrance.
His entrance. Like, hey, I'm here, the gift to all humanity.
Like an
Hi.
eel.
Yeah.
He's like a little slithery.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think people look like animals a lot. We were just discussing this.
And I'm sure he's relieved because he's had clearly a lot of concerns.
He was worried about her scoliosis.
Yes. And they kiss.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Yeah. Starts fine. He's in his suit, but with all of his Burning Man bracelets on. And he
got to keep that DJ side, baby.
He's got to keep that DJ. I mean, the DJ and football coach, right?
Yeah.
Those are his
DJ
gigs.
Football coach. Probably he calls them jobs.
Hey, I resent that.
Oh, okay.
Not for the football coach part, but DJ part. I've done some of that.
Yeah.
So he proposes, with the ring, and then she kind of goes like, "I'm kind of very traditional. I don't do the ring until the day of."
Which is like standard, I believe. I don't know if it's a different custom in Sweden.
Is it? I
But
genuinely
usually
don't know.
here, yeah, this came up with Clay D, season 6, that men don't typically get engagement rings. They just get a wedding band at the altar.
So there's no indication that a man is engaged?
No, there's no indication that a man is, just in his heart and mind.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I have no idea. So
Yeah, I think some men probably choose to, but it's not like, anyway, I wouldn't think it's like unusual that she's not giving him a ring, you know?
And then he immediately, because of the, maybe it's because of the ring, that he then kind of immediately hones in on, oh, you're also not wearing the bracelet. And she's like, I couldn't get it tightened. He's like, you should just be able to tighten it. And she's like, I've had a lot of people try to tighten it. I can't tighten it. He is weirded out. And she kind of stands up from this interaction and is just kind of like, okay, cool. Well,
We're good. I know.
Great.
That's Sergio he's got a lot of wounding, right? I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts on Sergio, but Amanda's really the one where I'm like, really? Like, there's nothing inside you saying there's no red flags going off for you, hon? You know?
I mean, from just seeing him? From what?
Well, this is like the second time in very limited, at least the second time in very limited interactions that he's expressed a hesitation, at least. And this one, he was, it's like in your engagement, this guy's going to come at you,
Yeah.
I think she's trying to dismiss it as him being playful, but it's like, girl,
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, is she really seeing what she only wants to see? She must be. I don't know.
I
don't know.
The only other thing I can think of is maybe she hasn't had a lot of dating experience.
Maybe. She's very religious.
Yeah, it might be the fact that her being religious, and we're only focusing on that because she herself has stated it as one of the first things about her, right? And to me, maybe it reads as it has been something that has kept her from dating a lot. Mm-hmm. And so to have made this connection that felt like a strong emotional connection in the pods, she's feeling really comfortable and confident about it, you know? But yeah, the red flag, I mean, obviously the original red flag, the fact that he straight up lied to her while they were in the pods, is shocking that she just kind of brushed off and moved past. Yeah, it is interesting to, yeah. I don't know where it comes from for her.
Yeah, I don't either. It'll be interesting when we meet their families. First of all, I wonder if Sergio is not going to come. I feel like there's that kind of family dynamic. He's got the type of wounding that starts very early in life.
He might have siblings, maybe not. Maybe parents might not show up. But
yeah,
I have a feeling that he might have. Well, he hasn't yet to speak of any family, right?
I don't recall him speaking about family.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be so much to say about them throughout this episode. So let's maybe, if it's cool, leave it there for a second and turn to the next dynamic of this ep.
Yeah, the little square. Well, sort of a square. It's like a triangle with a
It's a zigzag.
with a dangle. It's
a dangle.
It's I mean, kind of, right? Because we start off with Johan and Kimia.
It is. It took me a second to visualize it, but yeah, it is a triangle with a dangle.
It's a triangle with a dangle.
It's like the Big Dipper.
Yeah. Well, a little bit. It's like a kite.
Like a kite. We come to Jonah and Kimia.
Johan.
Jonah Hill.
Johan
Nil.
So he's talking to Kimia, and she seems to be kind of all in on this relationship, and he seems to be a little bit like, hey, I have pretty strong connections elsewhere.
Yeah.
And in the little talking head, he is kind of explaining that he's really more into Mira than he is into Kimia. And
he finds her difficult. He finds Kimia difficult.
Yeah.
She's a great girl, but difficult, he says.
Yeah, and the fact that Mira's seeing someone else is confusing him, because then he's like, well, should I be then leaning into this relationship or not? But Mira's the only one that he's been able to see moving forward with. And at the same time, doesn't fully feel like he can move forward with her, right? So he expresses this several times, and I feel for him, which is that 10 days isn't enough for him, and actually to be fair to the timeline, it's less than 10 days, right? Because that's the whole thing, is that Oscar is willing to move forward faster than 10 days. He's doing that like, he gave her a ring, like a promise ring type of situation. So he's already making moves, and Johan's like, I haven't gotten there yet. I feel like I'm getting there, but I haven't gotten there yet. And he would find it dishonest to move forward. So he's, I really feel for for his heart, that he probably would just need more time, and he doesn't want to just lean into a TV show format that limits it to 10 days.
I agree with that mostly. I think what he's communicates through this interaction, and especially after the handle of the Big Dipper comes to a head, is he seems to think that maybe this is a more pervasive issue for him, that he just has these guards up and trouble committing. So I'm totally with you that I think the 10 days or less than 10 days is a major thing, as I understand. I mean, that is the premise of the show. So it is what it is, but I can also understand how it would, if you're really taking this marriage very seriously, I guess I don't want to imply that people aren't, but it's a big deal, and I can see why you'd want more time. But the way he talks about it, he just seems so broken. Like this is something that just keeps happening to him. Like he can't let people in.
Yeah.
So I do think there's something deeper going on for Johan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we move on to his date with Mira, where I thought it was pretty funny that Johan is like, I'm going to teach you how to make a really tasty margarita because I used to be a bartender and that's your favorite drink. Meanwhile, Oscar's got like a sombrero on and he's like, these are pre-made with a little chili. Let's have fun.
Which is totally like, isn't that just the difference between the two of them, right? Like Johan with his like ice pick and like probably has a yuck or something, or like whatever the, like Swedish equivalent is. Like, this guy is like, I wake up and cold plunge and meditate. And, it's like, of course, he's like, he's got a very strong Saturn influence if you like astrology. But like, he's like the type that is like, something's good if you earn it, and it's not Oscar's vibe at all. Oscar's like, I want things to be relatively chill, and fun. And yeah, I can see how they both really have merit, but they are very different. It's interesting that she's attracted to both.
Yeah, I mean, to the extent that she doesn't know what either of them look like, she's attracted to their personalities. Yeah. We get a little belly dancing montage here with Oscar and Mira. It's fun.
Which I just noticed that Oscar's shirt is at various levels of belly reveal. In a single twirl, making me think there's some continuity edits.
I mean, of course, there's a little editing. I mean, he had his arms above his head, but of course, it then cuts to Johan and Mira quietly sipping on a margarita as like the contrast,
right?
But yeah, even the talking head with Johan, like you can tell that there is. His energy is off. He is completely thrown by the fact that he's aware of Oscar, because it affects his interaction with Mira, but also even in the talking head, he's just kind of like, I feel like I should be able to win this. Which is again things
are hard. I work for them.
Yeah, exactly what you're describing. Like, I need to earn this. Meanwhile, Mira just seems to be kind of I can't tell what her vibe is towards the two of them. Like,
I feel like she finds him intriguing, but she also gets that he's tough. He's tough. I'm also thinking Enneagram 1, Ennea type 1. He's got that like perfectionist heart. Like he's very rigid. That would be hard. Even though there's like a sturdiness to him that I think is appealing. I think when you really like kind of drop into what life would be like for him, it would be pretty rigid. And that would, I don't know if he has those guards he has up. It's like he's so rigid in himself that he can't kind of let others in. And she probably picks up on that.
yeah. I mean, there's also the fact that she says she wants whoever is wanting to be with her to want to be with her 110%, which I
Fair.
yes, but is it in this circumstance, right? Like maybe that is even more so. Maybe it is the case that in a circumstance where you can't see the person you 110% want, but it also feels a little bit like she wants to be wanted, right? Like she's leaving that. There's a little bit of the I'm leaving the choice up to whoever wants me more, as opposed to her having a little bit more of an active say in it, you know?
I do think that's there. I don't know how big of a thing that is, but I agree that's there. Yeah. Right. There's something I think what maybe you're trying to capture, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like there's this thing in her that's like, you can tell how the men feel, but there's something in her that's really elusive.
Yeah, and
Yeah?
that she
Okay.
seems to want the men's desire for her to win, to decide things, right?
Yeah.
She wants to be chaste, and like S-E-D, not chaste, S-T-E. And she wants to be chaste, and that is like the other, you know, she wants the men to kind of fight for her in a sense.
Yeah.
She's like, I want them to be at 110%. It's been difficult with Johan because I don't feel him pushing for me that hard.
So you wish you saw a little bit more coming from her.
Yeah, a little bit.
I
But
get
it's
that.
also, there's probably a cultural aspect there.
I was just wondering the same. Yeah.
Especially, I believe she grew up in India, where that's a fairly strong drive for a man to show interest. So it is, it's something that I think is making this dynamic difficult, especially for Johan, who I think just wants more time. Yeah. But Mira seems to be real thrown by, this, and ultimately breaks up with Johan.
And Kimia's taking it in like,
Does this mean?
what do I make of this? I'm simultaneously on your side, and also, is he free now?
Yeah. And it's really sweet that Johan comes back and immediately like hugs Oscar, and they're, he's crying, and it's yeah, I feel for him. It's
Yeah.
he had feelings. I mean, he has feelings, and he's just, I think, doesn't know how to access them fully.
I feel like he's crying in part because of the loss of her, but in part on some level, I don't know if it's conscious, but because he feels so trapped by his own rigidity, you know? Like it's like I get a real loneliness from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he wishes he were different.
Yeah.
And I think that his next move is because of that. But before we move on to that, let's go to the literal same day date between Oscar and Mira, where Oscar proposes. And I'm going here entirely based on outfits.
I think it's, yeah.
But it
I
all
agree.
seems to have happened in the
One day.
same day.
I know.
Which is wild. That they had this
After so many like they were drinking earlier this day.
Yeah.
And this is hours later.
Yeah.
How much have they drunk by this point?
She's had 2 dates with drinking margarita, and one of them ended in a breakup. And then she's like, all right, I'm going to go back in with Oscar after that.
Whoa.
And then going to get proposed to. It is, it is, it's a lot to happen in one day.
What a day. What a day. But yes, Oscar now proposes to her. And she says yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we get a little Oscar heel click in the hallway, which he gets some height. That was my thought when I saw him do it. I was
he's
like,
really good at it.
whoa, that was...
Didn't see that for you, Oscar.
This guy knows how to heel click.
Whoa. The secret is you got to keep one leg up.
Yeah, to the side.
Yeah, up to the side, and the other one just comes and meets it. The secret is you also apparently got to be like a lemur. Go, Oscar. And he does it again.
Yeah, but then the awkwardness of him walking in and like all the guys are like, yay! And then Johan is like, this literally just happened.
I do love Johan's shirt, though.
You love Johan's shirt?
It's like little...
It's a good shirt.
Collar. It's very unique.
And Johan goes into a little pit of despair, I think.
Yeah. He's in a hole of darkness. Yeah.
And he's like, let's quickly pivot. Let's pivot. Mm-hmm. Ross Geller, Friends, anyone? And has a date with Kimia. And it's like, hey, totally didn't really want to say I love you in any way because that's a really big thing for me. But I like you. Do you want to get married?
Yeah. Yep.
Because Kimia is very much like, you have been my one person. Mm-hmm. So great. This sounds good for me. But my jaw dropped when he said like, okay, so I'm gonna get down on my knee. And
it's like he's bracing himself.
Yeah, but she's also blown away. She's like, oh no. Like you can tell it on her face that she's like, I don't know if this is how I wanted this to happen.
Yeah, she's having some sort of doubt.
Yeah, but it makes sense because she knows that he was just broken up with. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sure she's having a really hard time because she's like, okay, I really like him. Mm-hmm. But up until now, he was not fighting for me at all. Mm-hmm. Like at all. Mm-hmm. So it's wild to have this transition. So it's
also understanding, if you're in her shoes, that it's a wild scenario to begin with, and that's kind of the nature of the show. So if there's something like that, it wouldn't be as huge of a red flag as it would be not in the show. But I do think she's coming into it with doubt, and then when Mara talks to her, later, it confirms all those doubts. Yeah, as it should.
Yeah, is it me or Mira seems to imply that Johan said more than he said. Like I feel like she's implying that he professed his love for me. I don't think did he?
I think she's embellishing a bit, but I think he did the Johan version of confessing his love.
I know, but I do think that adds to Kimia's confusion,
that's
right?
True.
Because he had literally just come out and said, like, I wouldn't say I love you to somebody yet because that means a really big thing to me. So for Mira to then say he professed his love to me, I'm sure is throwing her off because she's like, well, he wouldn't even say it to me, and he just proposed. So that's the part that I'm a little. I'm not to say that what Kimia ultimately does isn't exactly what should have happened, but I also think that this was maybe information that was delivered to her in a way that was not helpful.
I guess it didn't bother me as much. I don't think he technically confessed his love, but I saw what Mira was relying on to say that,
right.
And I do think she's ultimately trying to look out for Kimia, so I don't think she was. It didn't land to me as like she's just, lying or something,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying. It's that she does make it seem like more happened than did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And enough happened that she should say something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's the last we're going to see of Johan, right? Well, I guess until like they all see each other again.
I'm sure there's going to be some reunion drama or something.
Oh yeah. But not at least for the honeymoon period. We get to the meeting between Oscar and Mira. That's how I'm saying their names now.
You're really leaning into an accent.
I'm trying. I don't even know. I don't know if that's a Swedish accent at all.
Yeah.
It sounds honestly like not.
I don't know.
Maybe Spanish.
So yeah, Oscar and Mira. Oscar's real excited. He's happy because she's beautiful, and meanwhile she's a little bit like, he's not my type.
Yeah, I think she's like, I don't date white guys usually, right?
Yeah,
she says I like people who are darker.
Yeah, darker features. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he's got his goofy grin on, mm-hmm. And I think he is. There's an aspect of this that makes me feel like he's a lot more into her than she is into him.
Mm-hmm. You were picking up on that earlier, though, too. You know?
Yeah.
And she does say she doesn't know if she's totally attracted to him.
Yeah. Yeah, but hopefully we'll see how it goes. Maybe things will improve over time. But as it is right now, it's for me, it's ending with a little bit of like a okay. Mm-hmm. And but Oscar is like head over heels, and he's engaged. And then we move on to.
Oh right, it's not the last we see of Johan, because of course we have to see the.
Yes. Yeah. We have to see the actual. Yeah.
Oh, where they hug. Oh man, that's a rough start to begin with.
Yeah, and then she immediately pulls him aside and is like, Johan, can we just sit down for a second?
Yeah.
Can we, let's talk. And he's like, okay, yeah, let's do it.
This man seems so broken. He's like hanging on by a thread here, right? He's like still shaking.
Yeah. I feel, I hope he was okay after this. I imagine he wasn't. But this exact experience right here, I think is, I think he's going to be taking this very hard.
Yeah, he's like he reminds me of Trevor in the sense of like these guys that feel overwhelming amounts of feelings and just do not even have close to the tools to process them.
Yeah.
You know, and where it just shows up so physically, that shaking and like totally having like a panic attack.
Yeah, that's the thing that I think makes me a little scared for him, just because I don't know how I don't know if he knows that he's just allowed to feel it.
Yeah. Therapy, baby.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. I don't know if it's good times. It can be. It could be hard times, but it's good for you.
I mean, at the very least, I hope that he doesn't find himself just, blaming himself, because I think that's where he may end up going. He may end up kind of like going in a spiral of
certainly will. Yeah.
This is always me. This is what happens to me. This is, I got rejected twice, and then the person that I proposed to rejected me, and in such a like overt way, right? To like get to the point where, I mean, I hope that he doesn't see it as like the moment she saw me, she decided to reject me.
I hope so. I think he's so in his own world right now that he's actually barely even seeing her. Like he's so beyond capacity that he's like in a dissociative / panic state. Different states, but he's right on that edge. And I get the feeling he has had experiences like this before in his life. Maybe not this exact pattern, although maybe, but definitely a pattern of like his own rigidity blocks him. And, to the extent he blames himself, I hope he's not too harsh on himself.
Yeah.
But I do hope he looks at himself, because it does seem like he needs support and tools. He needs some therapy,
Yeah.
But yeah, he's having a tough time. Yeah. And Kimya, too, right? Like the show's focusing a lot on him, and it is tragic what's happening for him. But I also want to shout out to Kimya. Like,
Yeah, because she cared for him.
She cared for him and then got fake proposed to. That's pretty rough.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we can have sympathy for him, and he still did a not very nice thing.
Yeah.
So it just both can be true. Like, compassion is not mutually exclusive with understanding that someone acted badly.
Yeah. Definitely.
So, but that is the end of the pods. They do a brief preview or a recap of the couples. We have Chrisley and Rasmus,
Katya and Christopher,
Emilia and Lucas,
Amanda and Sergio,
and Mera and Oscar. Mera and Oscar. That's how I said it that time.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna go to the tropics.
Wherever they are. Did they say where these are?
Say where they
I
are.
want to know where these are.
Tropics of Sweden.
That's what made me. I wondered: is it a tropical paradise in Sweden? I don't think so.
They do seem pretty covered up.
Yeah,
whole time.
it
So
seems a little
like marginally
chilly.
warmer.
I'm trying to look at the plates of the cars to figure out where they might be right now. Not that that's a great indicator, because cars around Europe, they move around. Anyway, Amelia and Lucas arrive.
Let me see if Mother Google knows.
And Mira and Oscar arrive, and really, honestly, for me, it all kind of kicks off from my perspective when we have Amanda and Sergio. Which is interesting. They arrive
Cyprus.
Cyprus. Okay. They arrive separately. Amanda arrives, and Sergio has already been there, which is weird. It's like he's welcoming her to his place or something. He's like, "Hey, welcome." And he immediately kind of, in the talking heads montage, we're told that he thinks that she wants to break up with him, but doesn't want to actually do it. And therefore she's just behaving like this so that he breaks up with her. So he's going to act like an asshole so that she breaks up with him. It's such a
obvious projection.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you going to say? I cut you off there.
I was going to say it's such disordered and circular thinking.
Yeah.
That he's putting all of these thoughts into her head, and projecting these thoughts into her head, and like how she feels and how he must feel as a result. And he's like, it's that aspect of manipulation that we saw earlier, right? Where he wants the world to act according to the plan that he has in his head. And yeah, he seems to like the fact that he's saying, I'm going to behave like this so that she breaks up with me, to me is just one of those, like, I'm going to mess with her emotions. I'm going to it just seems off.
It's completely off. I feel like he doesn't have any sort of plan. Again, he's like, 5-year-old kid, right? It's like, why did the 5-year-old kid lie to you? Because he had some plan? No, I don't know. Because it's like, that's what they were feeling in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a kind of internal capacity to self-soothe.
Yeah.
And so when he feels something, it's got to be expressed right away. And if he's feeling happy, it's because she made him happy. If he's feeling sad, it's because she made him sad, And so it's like that kind of, everything is happening to him all the time. I think it's very chaotic to be him, which it's a very early trauma signature. Like before age 2. Okay. Like really early. But I might be giving him too much credit. You might be right? Like, I appreciate that you have your different perspective.
Yeah. I'm reading him without the background that you have in that sense. So there's also an aspect of me that is a little bit more I guess, in some ways judgmental of manipulative men,
Yeah,
or
but,
what I
you know,
perceive to be manipulative
yeah.
men. So I see that in him, and it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, though, Amanda's like, okay, I'm just going to try to look the other way on this and see the bright side.
Yeah, which also
I
seems
wonder
to
if her
indicate.
father was like this or something.
Yeah, or
Like,
that every other relationship she's had has been like this.
yeah, like someone taught her that this is okay behavior.
Yeah, that men ultimately have the say, and you are subservient and are just kind of following
Right.
along. And
Or it's okay that love is chaotic
and difficult. Yeah.
and difficult and conditional.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to earn it.
Yeah.
I bet her father was like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, or some key caretaker. But anyway,
We have Katya and
I'm
Christopher.
fired up thinking about the two of them.
Yeah. So we have Katya and Christopher. We have we begin focusing
Yeah.
on the hair,
Katya's
which,
just so not into him.
yeah, she notices for the first time that his hair is purple when he puts it down to put on a sun hat. And, we get the talking head where she says, like, I can't not focus on what he looks like. And he seems to a certain extent also oblivious to how she's feeling, because she's like, oh my God, your hair is purple. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to make it even more purple. I brought the hair dye to make it more purple.
This is so cringe.
It's a little unfortunate. Also, he seems to have like messed up his knee. Did you see that? He has like tape all over his knee.
I've so been her before. I hate to say it. I've so been with somebody that I really liked their personality and I really wanted to get more attracted to them, but I just wasn't. It's horrible. It's horrible for everybody.
I'm sitting right here. I'm just kidding.
Andre? It's not you, babe.
But she mentions how she thought he was going to be more Australian beach boy,
Yeah,
and she's
just
like,
gotta end it. You just gotta end it. But it's rough because it's like you don't want to hurt somebody, and so you think it's going to be less hurtful, and maybe you'll grow into it. Maybe you'll grow into being attracted to them, but you don't, and it just ends up hurting worse. Oh.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he is just
1,000%.
Yeah. He's like, she's gorgeous. I'm comfortable with everything about you. I love how you look. This is amazing. Meanwhile, he's proceeding to become
so uncomfortable.
More and more sunburned, as far as I can tell. Man, a little sunscreen. Just a little bit more sunscreen.
Yeah, it's not doing him any favors. That he's looking like all red up top with that between the purple hair and the sunburn. But like that shot just there, he's like all relaxed and she's like super tense sitting next to him. I mean, he seems like a awesome dude. I remember when he was really standing up for Amanda, and like he seems great, and I'm not worried about him. I think he's going to find someone really good. I just don't think it should be her.
Yeah.
He deserves to have somebody who feels like attracted to him,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have Oscar and Mira, where we have our first kind of little disagreement where she is thrown by his entire wardrobe. And to your point, it's kind of once again hitting on like, I don't usually date white guys who wear just chinos constantly. And he's like, I love chinos.
That's all I have.
Look at us. I am all
quality pants.
I am all chinos.
And she's like, okay. So it's just more of that cultural, like, being attracted seems to be a big theme in the season, because we have it with Katya and Christopher, of course. We have it with Mira and Oscar, and it turns out we're going to have it with Amelia and Lucas, right?
Yeah, Amelia and Lucas. We cut to them where they're connecting about like the books they're reading, and they seem to get along. It doesn't come across. I genuinely thought that they're going to have sex. That's kind of where in my mind, even I remembered them having had sex after we'd watched this episode. We took a little bit of a pause before we recorded this, and I was like, I think they have sex, and they don't. Yeah,
we flipped through it again this time before we recorded, so we didn't have another episode 1 fiasco.
Yeah, where we're just like,
thanks
what
for
happened?
bearing with us. Who are these people?
And we then get to this conversation with...
Wait, I want to return to Amelia and Lucas because I feel like
Sure.
Lucas is also doing the like, I'm not totally attracted to you thing. And I don't think it plays well for him. I think he tries to play it off like it's no big deal. But he's talking about really like deep intellectual books that he's reading. And she's like, I like smut. And I think when he's already like not attracted to her, he's starting to now build this picture in his mind of like, oh, she's not that, deep and, like trying to come up with all these justifications. I think he's already starting to make his exit from the relationship.
Interesting.
We'll see. It's only like their first day hanging out with each other. So
yeah, because otherwise they seem to be, she's having a great time, but I mean, just, like he seems to be having fun with her.
He's having less of a tough time with it than Katya is for sure.
Yeah.
Or he's better at hiding it.
Yeah. He's being playful at the very least. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But his heart doesn't seem in it.
No.
Mm-mm. It's like he's a good, affable dude and he's trying. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then these two.
Amanda and Sergio.
Yep.
He begins with this weird metaphor about the Eiffel
There's like
Tower.
one couple every season, and I'm like, do we have to talk about them? But it's only episode 3. We're going to have to talk about them a lot. All right, I'm going to steel myself.
He begins with this metaphor about the Eiffel Tower. He's like, how would you describe the Eiffel Tower to somebody? Metal, tall, shaped like an A. And he's like, okay, but the thing I wanted you to say is...
You didn't pass this test, Amanda.
Everyone mentions these things because, but really what it is, it's like it's got strong legs. It's got big, strong feet to hold it up. And that it's like... that's like you have strong legs and strong feet. My one phrase that I think I know how to say in Sweden, stora fötter, big feet. Well, there's a song that I listen to, stora fötter, stora skor, which is big feet, big shoes. It's good. Look, somebody recommended it to me.
What is it?
Stora fötter, stora skor. It's a good song. Okay, I'm probably not pronouncing it right. Somebody from Sweden correct me, but I'm pretty sure that's how it.
Just somebody from Sweden talk to us.
Yeah, say hello, and say what are you doing? Why can't you pronounce any names? He is doing this confrontation where he's essentially saying, I've gotten the vibe that this is like I've gotten red flags from you.
Oh, I know.
And it's wild to hear him say it because
he's just putting his feelings on her,
Yeah. But it's of all of the people, because he is a walking red flag, right?
Oh, I know.
And so for him to be like, I keep getting red flags from you is, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It is
projection. I mean, it's 110%.
But is he aware of the fact that he's a red flag?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. No,
Yeah.
He would have no self-awareness. Again, think of him like he is a 5-year-old person.
Small boy. Okay.
Everything makes sense if we place him as a 5-year-old person.
Yeah.
Billy hurt me, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
But it's all hidden behind this like machismo like facade though, where he's just kind of like, I'm confident, I am stable, I know what I'm doing, you don't know what you're doing. And she's confused by it because she doesn't, I think to your point, like this is the way she understands love. She's saying, well, he proposed to me. We're moving forward. I don't understand why he's still debating this.
I got to look into that hesitation, but he did propose. So don't need to look at that any further.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. They're a tough couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when we return to Katya and Christopher, she seems to imply that she wants to... I mean, I think she's trying really hard to get into him more physically.
Yeah.
But the fact that she's describing, I want to try to get physical contact between us. I want this to somehow move forward. It's difficult because you can kind of tell that she's pushing herself through it. Right?
She's really trying. Yeah. She is. It's something mean that will happen, but I think she's really trying to not be,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I've been in her shoes, right? So maybe I'm not neutral here. Yeah.
But yeah, everything that you see, like her, like the body language, the way that she leans in and then leans away, it's hard to see whether she is going to be able to do this like for a long time. And then we get our first look at Katya, Chrysalie and Rasmus, who we haven't seen in a while.
I know.
And they're hot tubbing. They're getting a little hot, but also
very connected.
Yeah. Chrysalie is also kind of saying just about the physical. I want to hold off on going all the way tonight. I don't want to be physical with you. I want to take it slower, and kind of, take it one step at a time. And he seems to be on board with that. Doesn't want to push too hard and wants to take it at the rate that she wants to take it.
He seems totally into her.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a lot of tattoos.
Yeah, which he does. Yeah,
They seem to be getting along great. It's nice to see. They're our chosen couple of the season,
I mean, yeah, I still think that living together might throw them off, but we'll see.
I also wonder how it will be when he meets Katya.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. Then we go to Oscar and, should I say it a different way than now? Oscar and Mayra.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Pretty sure we can I think we can solidly say it's an O. Oscar. But yeah, there's also a little, you can start feeling that tension here where he's reaching out and the gesture of like his hand, palm facing up as her hand slips out of his, and he's just kind of like staring at her like, okay, I was hoping this would go a little bit better. Meanwhile, she's actively, audibly asking, did I make the right choice? And we know he thinks he did. He's positive about his choice. But I'm sure it doesn't feel good to hear her essentially say, I'm not sure you're the right person for me.
Yeah. I think though there's just also she seems to really like think a lot and be very like, what does my emotion feel? Very introspective. And I think Oscar is like, let's just live in the moment. It was like the margarita thing, where he's like, fun, fun, fun. So for him, I think she's wishing he had a little bit more depth to him, which I'm sure he does. Like, I wish there was a way that sounded less critical to say that, but, I believe he does have depth to him, but it doesn't seem to be what he focuses on. And I think maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. She wishes he focused on that more,
Yeah.
So we'll see how that continues to play out. But she does, like, of the lack of attraction couples, she seems the most into him.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're no Chrysalie and Rasmus, and yeah. So then we go over to Amelia and Lucas, and it looks like Amelia's wanting a little. Okay. And Lucas is like, let's turn the lights off.
That was quite a lot.
You're welcome.
But yeah, she's wanting a little bit of action and is hoping that the fact that he sleeps naked will be sufficient for them to get it on. And
he's like, lights out, time
and
for
Lucas
bed.
is like, should we turn the lights off? Do you want to cuddle? Okay, let's. But yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll we don't
We'll
find
hear more
out
about
until
that.
yeah. We then come up to the morning where we are back to Sergio and Amanda, and she seems to think we've gotten past, we've moved on, we are good. Things haven't been weird since then because we talked about it. You were close to leaving yesterday, and man,
Was I?
yeah,
Was I close to leaving again?
yes, because you
What?
told all of us, including her, that you've been close to leaving several times. So stop behaving like a thing that actually happened and we all saw didn't happen.
It's the same move that when she was like, didn't you do this? And he's like, what? Maybe you can be my girlfriend instead.
Yeah, what do you mean? It
Let's
doesn't
not focus on
it
this.
I'm an honest person, so this doesn't sound like me. It doesn't sound like what I would do.
What? No, I think it's like, it's gaslighting, right? It's like,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
yeah, he's moved past it, so it's time for her to move past it too, you know? And
Yeah.
I don't like that you're making me talk about it right now. Wah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and but then that somehow reassures her. And she's like, okay, well, we're just going to see where this journey's going in her talking head. And it's like, I don't know. And it's like they both, I want to shake both of them, but like Sergio, I at least believe is like, he's almost like too far gone. Like Amanda, it's like, we want her to do better, which I don't know. I feel so cruel when I talk about Sergio. I don't like it, but like, because I really do believe he's got a lot of trauma and it's like deep stuff. And I really hope he goes to therapy. But I also like, until he does that, I don't really expect much from him, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas Amanda, I'm like, I see more there, and I wish you could lean into it. But yeah, I think it's, yeah, there's some figure in her life that has treated her like this, I think. So.
And then Katya and Christopher, I don't exactly know what happened, but he describes that their intimacy has been electric.
Yeah.
It's very good. It's fireworks. So do you gather from this that they got intimate the night before?
I don't know. It's maybe something. Maybe not full. Maybe like third base. She looks continually awkward and stiff and uncomfortable. I wonder why he's not seeing that. I wonder if he's like so distracted by his attraction for her that he's like not listening to how he feels internally, Because like, I don't know what it's like to be there, but she does not look like she's acting that well. Like
No.
she looks not attracted to him.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do wonder whether it's a part of it is the fact that they, you court this person without being able to see them, without seeing their body language, so you internalize the fact that they are into you, right? So then when you meet them, all you know is that they're into you. So you associate that with whatever posture they're putting towards you. They're like, well, I know that she's into me because she agreed to...
And she is doing stuff with me physically. Yeah.
So this must be just how she is. And I think he's just trying really hard not to read into it.
That's fair.
And meanwhile, Katya is like, I am attracted to him, but I don't know if it's enough. So it is... I can't tell whether, again, she's just pushing through it. They say one day at a time, which is such a...
So foreboding.
Yeah, it's such a mentality of like, look, this is really hard, but we're just doing it one day at a time.
Get in there. One day at a time. Yeah. And then the couple that's doing really awesome, Chrisley and Rasmus, massaging, being physical. Yeah.
Seemingly having a lovely time.
I want the Chrisley and Rasmus experience.
Yeah.
And
then
we have another stiff couple where he's also Lucas and Amelia. He's not attracted to her.
Yeah, and we get that pretty actively this time. So
this is the most it comes out. Yeah.
Yeah. So it went from we think maybe this is happening because she's clearly indicating that she wants to have sex and is now actively saying to him, I want to do this and I'll initiate if you don't want to initiate, but I need to know that you're also into it. And he says, I don't know.
Yeah,
like a
and
little
he's
bit
like smiling the whole time because he's trying to be a good guy, you know. I think
Yeah.
he's used to people liking him. He's charming, but he's trying to really. He eventually says, like, I need it to go a little bit more slowly than that,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But he's trying to play dumb for a while. Like, you want to get your heart rate up in bed? What do you mean by that? I mean, do you want to do a HIIT workout in bed? Yeah. It's only in the talking head that he says that he's not that physically attracted, but he does tell her he needs things to be slower. He needs to have time to lean into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see
what
how this
happens.
goes. And that brings us to the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm. So I think next episode will be them all meeting each other, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, assuming that this goes in the same sort of pattern that they do on the U.S. shows, the next thing would be a party between everybody, and that will be interesting because there have been some crossed interests.
Yeah,
right?
Rasmus was interested in two people. Sergio was obviously interested in everybody. I don't know if Lucas, I don't remember Lucas. I think he was. No, he was Carolina, but she's not going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But I'd say, like, this early in the season, I don't know if it's usual to have this many couples struggling with their physical attraction to each other. I feel like I haven't seen that on previous season.
I mean, ironically, the next episode is
it's called Physical Attraction.
It's titled.
Well, there
Physical
you go. Right? Yeah. So it does seem to be a real theme here. We'll find out. I feel like there's like maybe a couple, maybe two each season where that's a question mark, but this seems to be very predominant here. So I don't know if that's just circumstance or if that's some Swedish culture thing, or I don't know. It's like interesting when you watch shows from the different countries because they do have different cultures and those factor in, you know? So
yeah, 100%.
But that's our take. We're going to try to do episode 4 this weekend. Hopefully 5 too. But until then, please like us, follow us,
subscribe,
give us 5-star reviews. Love Is Blind podcast on Instagram.
And genuinely the best is reviews, like especially on Apple Podcasts. Those are awesome. You can do the Q&A on Spotify, but even just clicking the thumbs up or the 5 stars makes things very visible for other people. It's more likely for us to be seen and to get more people to listen.
Yay.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm Allie.
And I'm Andre.
We'll catch you next time.
Bye-bye.